We're here at one of the most haunted places in the country, Fort Mifflin. And right now, we're about to do a podcast in an old Confederate prison with a Union war hero.
Thank God we have a Union guy here, because if I'm fighting ghosts and Confederates at the same time, I don't know that I could win. But we're excited to be here, and I am genuinely terrified.
Yeah, we're not trying to be sissy boys, but we're being a little bit of sissy boys. We've heard some bumps already in there and everything.
Yep.
Kind of stinks. But we're going to grit our teeth, get through it, because we love you guys. Subscribe to the Patreon. We'll talk to you. Enjoy the episode.
Yeah, and do that too while you're at it. Why not?
All right, welcome back to another episode of Men at Work. We're at Fort Mifflin in Casemate 1.
Oh, yeah.
As you saw in the intro. I'm here with my buddy Maddie, and I'm here with Connor, a tour guide at Fort Mifflin, who is dressed as a Union war hero. I'm going to call you war hero. I think you're a war hero. You know what? Screw it. We're going to make it up along the way anyway, so who cares? You're a tour guide here, and how long have you been a tour guide at Fort Mifflin?
For 4 years.
4 years, okay. We talked to Mary and we talked to Rebecca. They've been here for 20, they've been here for 18, so you're kind of the new kid on the block, or is there?
Relatively so, yeah, relatively so. I had a brief stint where I was actually studying abroad for 2 years, and I've come back. I just love the ghost tours here so much, so I had to. So yeah, I was 4 years here as the lead tour guide and program coordinator, and back here again for the ghost tours.
Nice. How'd you get into tourism? How'd you get into being a tour guide?
Well, I knew about Fort Mifflin because I'd come here for some reenactments in the past, and I really liked it. And I've always wanted to go into a career with, historic sites and museums. And when I was looking for a job, Fort Mifflin popped up, and I thought, why not? And here I am.
Very interesting. So you studied abroad. Did you study any civil wars abroad while you were out there? Where'd you go? Did you find out what they were doing over there? Infighting? Anything going on? You ever see any of that?
Well, I studied over in the UK, actually. So.
Oh, God. You went back to the homeland. I like that, dude. You're a real Yank, dude. I appreciate you going back there. That's
to the enemy,
nice.
dude. You're a little Nathan Hale.
Yeah.
I know. I was studying in Wales for a little while, and there was some courses there on the American Civil War I took as well, which were great. But I did get involved in some English Civil War reenacting over there, pretty funny enough. So yeah, good fun.
I know you're doing Civil War, but did you do any like a little American Revolutionary? Because if you go down to the South, they kind of tell the Civil War a different way. Like, the Brits tell the American Revolution a different way. It's like, we didn't really lose. We were just outgunned.
They do. There's different things that they say in the, they teach it differently in the UK. One of the big things they talk about is how American marksmen were so much better, how they lost due to a lot of riflemen hunting from the woods and things like that. How they were just simply outgunned by this ungentlemanly warfare kind of thing.
Ungentlemanly?
Yeah,
is that
of
what
course.
they try to do?
That's the most British thing I've ever heard, yeah.
Look at them moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
Riflemen were pretty much hated by both sides because they had such accurate weapons compared to the muskets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that country that was like 20 years old. Maybe
they
not even
should
20
know.
years old.
Enough with the cannons. Figure it out. Get a rifle on hand.
Yeah.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Seriously. Man, so what was it like over there? Like, how did you take that experience and kind of make it into like what you do right now at Fort Mifflin?
Well, it's actually kind of funny. So after my 4 years here at Fort Mifflin, I did 2 years over there. And while I was over there, I was actually a tour guide at a castle. So kind of translates very well. Fort Castle, an old medieval castle near Swansea called Oyster Mouth Castle. And I did ghost tours there as well. So
how about that?
What kind of ghost tours were you giving? Who was the big kahuna over there?
Oh, that was in Oystermouth Castle. It was Lady Alina, the White Lady.
Got it.
Seen roaming the halls of the castle in a white dress.
Got it.
So, ghost tours are everywhere, always old, spooky, haunted places.
Who's cooler, a British ghost or an American ghost?
Well, I think the ghosts here at Fort Mifflin are a lot cooler than
Is that right?
I apologize to anybody.
A little biased. Well, you have to say it. They're all around us at once, so I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah. You said what? American ghosts are better than British ghosts? What was that?
Well, I think the ghosts here at Fort Mifflin are a lot cooler than the one that I had over there, but that's just because I'm biased.
That's right. Yeah, we have we're surrounded by ops right now. We have no idea, so I can understand that you're kind of keeping your eye out.
Well, I guess we are in a former Confederate prison, right? And also Union deserters.
Right. So yeah, during the Civil War, this casemate where we are now would have held 82 Confederate prisoners. This was in December of 1863. So after Gettysburg, the Union Army had more prisoners than it knew what to do with. Yeah. But on top of the Confederate prisoners, it had draft dodgers, so people who didn't want to sign up for the war and tried to run away from the draft. You had political prisoners, which were a thing during the Civil War. And you had some Union war criminals who had done things like, robbed or murdered while on duty. So they were also held here.
Ooh, 82 people crammed in here.
Mm-hmm. Into this casemate alone. And do you see a toilet in here?
I don't.
Do you see anywhere to wash your hands?
No, but I see a fireplace.
They have a fireplace.
Which is nice. Which is, to be fair, it's aesthetic. My girlfriend, we're looking for houses now, and she's obsessed with a fireplace. So I'll show her this place, and we'll see if we can make a deal.
What's the Zillow rate on this bad boy?
Yeah.
We'll get the Kelly Blue Book later.
Good question. Yeah. So, it would have been just filthy, deplorable conditions in here. And to answer your question, by the way, they probably would have just had a bucket
Is that what it was?
That's where they would have had to use the facilities. It would have just been a bucket in the corner.
So no showering, no hand washing. You just work with what you can do, and then the bucket is kind of like the go-to if you have to go number 1, number 2 kind of deal.
Yep, and it probably would have been emptied into the moat every day. Damn. And then they also probably would have gotten water for washing up from the same place.
So that's we read a little bit about this. The dysentery seems like that was a big kind of life-claiming thing that happened. Is there any complaints to be made at that time?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what does that look like?
I mean, the conditions here in these casemates have always been terrible. I mean, as soon as they were built, they realized they wouldn't be really healthy to keep anybody in for a long period of time. And dysentery was one of those diseases that was super common. And you might know, dysentery is one of those diseases where you die from a lack of fluids because those fluids are coming out of a certain...
It's funny you said that. I always played the Oregon Trail, and I never knew why I died of dysentery.
Yeah, it's a horrible way to go. You
gotta go back to start. Gotta go back to start now.
And unfortunately, we do know that some of the people here at Fort Mifflin likely died of dysentery. Now, we have only 4 known prisoners to have died here during its time as a prison, which is actually pretty low rate compared to
some would say the Mount Rushmore of prisoners that died here.
The
at
top
Fort
4,
Mifflin.
yeah. That's actually only 4 people in the entire...
From disease, but...
Okay, sure, I was going to say, that seemed a little... Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense.
I mean, over the fort's history, of course, you have hundreds.
Right.
Battle, there was executions that took place here, disease, and some other various ways people died. People drowned in the moat, people froze to death. There's no shortage of death here at Fort Mifflin.
Hell yeah,
it seems to be the slogan.
That's what I want to hear while I'm sitting in a casemate with a little 10 by 10 room where probably some dude walking through the camera behind us right now. I hope we get one.
A little spooked.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a tour guide, so you see tons of different people.
Dead and alive.
Dead and alive. Yeah, true. That's a good point. I mean, through your walkings through, who gets more easily spooked out? Is it guys or girls?
Oh, I don't know. I think, honestly, the girls here at the fort are pretty tough. I mean, most of our tour guides are female. And
sure.
I mean, my coworker Mary, for example, she's dealt with everything, and she's real tough, so she doesn't get spooked anymore.
Nothing like a lady that lets you tell a guy to sit the hell down, whether he's dead or alive.
I kind of need it. Yeah, they needed a lot more of that.
Get away from me.
Yeah, I hear that, dude. There's a lot going on at once.
So I know Fort Mifflin is called the fort that saved America. Like, what is kind of the history around it? Like, I know a little base of it. We did enough research and I think this is a really cool place because you've been a part of so much history and history that has like literally built this country. Revolutionary War, War of 1812, and the Civil War. Like, what is, when you are on your tour, like, what's your favorite story to tell, or like, what's your favorite like history tidbit of like Fort Mifflin to kind of get your point across?
Well, Fort Mifflin was the site of the largest bombardment in North America, and it would only be later beat during the Civil War, right before Pickett's charge. What happened here was effectively the precursor to Valley Forge. It's the reason why Washington was able to encamp at Valley Forge. So you get to September of 1777. Washington is defeated at the Battle of Brandywine. The British capture Philadelphia. Monumental thing that happens. They captured the capital of the rebel forces. Everybody thought the war might have ended then and there, but no, Washington kept fighting. The army kept fighting, but Washington needed to make it to winter quarters at Valley Forge. Even though the British had captured Philadelphia, they had not captured Fort Mifflin or Fort Mercer across the river, and these 2 forts were told by Washington to hold out to the last extremity against the might of the Royal Navy, and they did so for 6 long weeks, enduring 1,000 cannonballs an hour at the height of the siege. It was an incredibly intense bombardment. Estimates of casualties here at the fort, 250 to 300, but because these men held out for so long, Washington made it to Valley Forge. So we were kind of the prequel to that momentous thing.
Sure. So I guess that was kind of like the early understanding of like, don't put your capital right on your coastline. I guess that makes a little more sense. They kind of learned a quick lesson right there. Like, we should put it a little more inland, make it a little bit tougher. Was there any kind of like speaking about that?
Maybe
a hill, a quick hill.
It didn't help too much during the War of 1812, though. It just kind of happened again. But
sure.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
I heard that, I heard a story from watching about Fort Mifflin is that you guys were getting bombarded. You guys, everybody was. We were getting. Yeah, thanks, man.
Us,
our ancestors were getting bombarded so much that they had people go out and retrieve the cannonballs, and they paid them by giving them rum, and they got the Revolutionary Army, the Continental Army, so drunk that guys just started trying to catch the cannonballs out of the air, and they were literally losing their heads.
That is absolutely true. That's an account from...
Sorry, big brothers. I don't want to be rude or anything.
And we appreciate it, of course.
That's fucking nuts.
Yes, of course. Of course we appreciate it.
That did happen. The British had a 32-pound cannon. We had a 32-pound cannon. We ran out of cannonballs for it. Now, 32 pounds is not the weight of the cannon. It's the weight of the cannonball. So those were pretty heavy cannonballs.
Yeah, dude, I can do some... listen, dude, you get me on a
Yeah, I've seen he's been doing Pilates lately. He knows a lot about a 32 pounds going up a disc course.
Yep.
Little kettlebell?
Accounts from Joseph Von Martin record that these men were picking up the cannonballs that had literally just been fired by the British, tossing them into our cannon and firing them right back.
I love that.
So we talked about it before we started. The Gangs of New York. I just watched. Then you talked about draft dodgers. Now, is that like, my understanding was a lot of the soldiers were maybe like from a lower kind of status family that were like forced to be drafted into this? So these guys are in the middle of a war. They're probably, 18 to 25 is the predominant age of the guys. Have you seen any history about what their perspective was? Like, do they want to be there? Are they like, I'm really fighting for the Union? Or are they kind of like, shit, I don't want to end up here. This is not what I expected.
Well, it depends. You had a lot of people who were, of course, devoted to the Union cause, but especially at the outset of the war, you had a lot of people who simply didn't care. I mean, there were a lot of very racist Northerners who didn't care about slavery or thought that slavery was fine. There were a lot of people who simply didn't want to die. They were just too scared to go out to war. And especially after the Union Army was racking loss after loss in the beginning of the war, they thought, no way I'm doing that. So quite a few of those draft dodgers ended up here at Fort Mifflin because they tried to run away. And back then, that wasn't an option.
Where do you run? South?
That's a good question. I don't know of any defectors. But
they're both in the war.
That's got to be tough to try to. You're running away from like the old Delco area, and you're like, shit, I'm at Fort Mifflin. I ran too far. I'm on the coast.
I think a lot about how easy it would have been to kind of do crimes and try to evade authorities back then. It's not like they had ID or anything like that. So
DNA.
Fake your name everywhere you went. No ID.
Yeah. Grow a mustache. That would have been tough for me. Though.
I like that. It seems like there's a devious bone in your body there, Connor. You think about what it was like to do crime in the past. I like that. I'm right there with it because I think about the same thing. It feels like you could just do it willy-nilly, and you would get like a cool nickname. They'd call you like Old Connor of the South. He struck again and took the rum.
They don't do that anymore. I
No.
guess it's a good thing though, because you get those cool nicknames, and that just encourages more people to go do stuff.
Yeah. Now just billionaires do crime, so times have really changed. It used to be kind of a poor thing to do crime. Nowadays we got a lot of the rich people doing it. So,
So a lot of people had died here. You've been here for 4 years. Have you had any experience with the paranormal?
Fortunately, not as much as my coworkers have.
Okay.
There have been occasions where I sleep over here at Fort Mifflin pretty often.
That's
not
insane.
Here. Mind
That's
you.
crazy.
I've only done it
Crazy.
once in here during a reenactment, but
What are the beds like?
I just sleep on a cot. I have a nice cot that I sleep on.
It's
camping
crazy
cot.
to sleep in a place
Air
that's
mattress.
definitely
Yeah.
haunted, and the sleeping arrangements aren't even that great.
is this like an encouraged thing, or you're just like I really want to?
Well, wait, are they hazing you? You can tell us.
No.
You can tell us.
That's not what it is. I do it of my own volition. So sometimes it's because
Nuts.
we have scouts or paranormal investigation groups here, which, believe it or not, there are
Okay.
paranormal investigators
Sure.
that rent out the fort for a night. They come and investigate. Boy Scouts stay over here. So each one of those, we need somebody here just to make sure nobody's setting on fire, anything on fire or anything. So we have one person on staff always on site for any of these things. So I've stayed over here at the fort plenty of times, and while here, I've heard boot steps.
Okay.
I've heard mysterious little whispers and things like that. And you always feel like you're being watched. That's one thing that doesn't really go away.
Yeah, I turned the corner a couple times, and I always thought I saw something in the corner, but I think it was just kind of me just being a big baby.
It's a tall shadow. You're too long
True.
of a guy. Yeah, the shadow is crazy.
I'm the Slender Man.
So you're staying here overnight. You hear boots. I mean, are you like waking up, or are you like a sound sleeper while you're here? And you're like, this is kind of almost putting you at peace.
I am a pretty sound sleeper most of the time, but the boot thing, it was pretty hard to get sleep afterwards.
What's he like, dancing?
No, so I was over in the hospital building, which is outside the fort's walls. A lot of people would have died in there, of course. And I was sleeping on the first floor, and I heard those boot steps coming from the second floor. And it's actually pretty silly. I tried to convince myself it was a raccoon, so I grabbed the broom.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
be
grabbed the
awesome.
broom, and I walked up the steps, and then I thought, wait a minute, I'm at Fort Mifflin. I go back down the steps, and I grab a musket, and I put a bayonet on it. I must look very, very silly in my pajamas with a musket and bayonet. I go up the stairs, I look in the windows, and of course there is no raccoon. I go back downstairs, I try to get some sleep.
Could have been a Confederate raccoon. Who knows? That guy, yeah, he's up there, yeah.
I wake up in the middle of the night, and I hear the boot steps again, and I don't bother going up to investigate again.
Yeah.
I just try to go to sleep, but I didn't really get much
That
sleep
would have been so sick if it was a raccoon. He killed the raccoon, and the raccoon came back to haunt Connor.
That's
Oh,
true. You
ghost
stay
raccoon.
sleep
That's an
here.
interesting idea, yeah.
Certainly on the table.
I heard there's a spirit who's a tour guide.
Yeah, the unknown tour guide. So
Yeah.
over in the Gunpowder magazine, which in my opinion is probably the spookiest place here at the fort,
Agreed.
on numerous occasions, people have seen a soldier dressed in Revolutionary War attire who, according to these accounts, has spoken to them and spoken at length about what the battle was like, what it was like to be here during the battle. People will thank this person, walk out, and tell whoever's in the gift shop, that reenactor did a great job.
Yeah.
But of course, there's no reenactor there that day. And one of my coworkers, Mary, had a picture taken of her in that Gunpowder magazine. And standing behind her in this picture is a man dressed in Revolutionary War attire who nobody at the fort recognizes.
Wow.
Smiling and looking at the camera.
Isn't that crazy? You not only have to worry about AI taking your job, now you have to worry about a dead guy taking your job.
This is well before AI, yeah. You know?
Yeah, there's got to be a small piece of you that's like, I studied really hard for this. I don't want this guy coming here taking my job.
Get the hell out of here.
You're kind of ruining my whole setting. I would be pretty peeved if I were you, dude.
You know?
I mean, that guy can actually draw on experiences a lot more than you can. So
It's
like,
true.
I
It's true.
kind of do hope when we see the tour later that we kind of run into him.
It would be nice if you stepped in as a tour guide, be like, let me correct you real quick, Ghost. Actually, so this didn't go. Yeah, of course, sure. That'd be great, man. Yeah, fight back.
That would be all time.
Yeah, the union's got to unionize. They're taking your jobs. I appreciate that. That's very nice.
Oh man. What are some of the most well-known ghost stories or ghost sightings here? Who are some of the people who kind of maybe in this casemate right here or around the grounds?
Well, one of the ghosts we talk about here in casemate number 1 is the man by the fire. It's a man dressed in Revolutionary War attire that's been seen simply sitting by the fireplace over there on numerous occasions by people staying over here at the fort.
10 feet that way.
Right over there, yep. Whenever the fire is lit, numerous occasions people have seen a Revolutionary War soldier either sitting or standing next to the fireplace and just staring into the flames.
It's crazy.
On one occasion, there was a Civil War reenactment here, and one of the guys woke up in the middle of the night and saw this guy wearing the tricorn hat looking into the fire and turned back over and then thought, wait a minute, this is a Civil War reenactment. That's a Revolutionary War soldier. What's he doing here? So he flipped back over, and the guy was gone.
Wow.
That's probably one of the more tame spirits.
I love that person that was just like playing semantics. Like
Yeah.
that's
Technically, it's an American.
Well,
He doesn't really belong here.
That's a Union soldier.
That's a guy fighting back. He's like, I'm sick of these tour guides coming in. He's not even dressed correctly. Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's Union. We're doing Confederate today.
Yeah.
We're doing Union. No, that's Revolutionary. We're doing Union today.
We're doing Union today. Also, I like the names of the spirits. I feel like we could be a little more creative. You see a man by the fire, and we landed on man by the fire. What about
could probably
Derek?
do a little bit better. Derek, well,
Maybe Derek?
we do have some spirits that
Like
we've
that?
associated names with. For example, if they record a name pretty often in a certain area and it's associated with a spirit, we typically apply that name to the spirit. So, for example, Michael is one of the spirits that's known to roam up and down the halls of the casemates.
Okay.
He's reportedly a soldier wearing a ragged Union coat. He's might have been one of the soldiers whose duty it was to bring food and water to the prisoners, or also empty those buckets I mentioned earlier. He wouldn't have had a great job.
Yeah,
He's
sure,
apparently
yeah.
still seen him wandering up and down.
So we've heard that there's really, it seems like the spirits for the most part are not nefarious in any way. They seem somehow kind of like we just want you to know we're here. Can you give me a better understanding of that? If they're not kind of coming at you in like a kind of scary way, what is the idea of what they're doing?
Not necessarily. I mean, there have been some helpful spirits even. We have had some reports from paranormal investigators who say that they've been cursed at or yelled at. On one occasion, though, in regards to the helpful thing, my coworker Mary was making her way down into casemate 11, which is the solitary confinement casemate, when she slipped on the steps.
Oh.
But she felt an icy cold hand grab her shoulder and prevent her from falling.
Wow.
When she turned around to thank the gentleman that had helped her, of course, no one was there.
That's
So,
nice.
Not all bad, of course.
Sure.
Some can be kind of spooky.
He's like, learn to walk, bitch.
Okay. 10 to 2.
It's like, oh damn, we had
Lock in.
We had such a good rapport.
The ghost is on life alert. Yeah, how about that? The irony.
Hey, shout out to that ghost. That was a good ghost.
That was a good ghost.
What's the ghosts that are like cursing at people and stuff?
Some say that he's the judge, and I don't know too much about him, but he's been reported to curse on numerous occasions.
I don't think that's allowed in.
Is he hitting like modern curses? Like
Well, they have all the same curses we have. Not that I can repeat any of them.
they don't
Okay.
have Skibbity Toilet. That's a new
Yeah,
one that
that's
kids
true.
came up with.
Probably wouldn't have had that one.
That's what my younger cousin called me the other day, and I had to Google it. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been insulted and had to Google what the insult means, but that was a tough day.
We do tour sometimes at another site I work at and here, and the kids just saying all sorts of stuff. I think there was one time where a kid just looked at me and said, "This fort is so skibbity," and then he hit the gritty, and I felt
And he hit the
really-
gritty.
He hit the gritty right afterwards. I felt really, really old.
And then you
That's-
looked around and you're like, did anybody see that? And they're like, we didn't see anything. It's the ghost of Gritty. It's the ghost of the Gritty 6'7" kid. He was a young boy emptying the buckets here.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, that's what the Continental Army fought for.
I think that's exactly right.
For us to do 6'7" and gritty all over the
Well,
casemates.
there was a huge TikTok trend back in the day, the little buckle my shoe thing. Do you remember that? One, two,
No.
buckle my
Yes,
shoe.
yeah.
Yeah, we did. I've made a bunch of TikToks for the fort. A lot of them historical, some of them little funny ones. And the one that blew every other one out of the water, it's got like nearly 1 million views on it, of course, is the one I put the least effort into. And it's me just pointing at the buckle shoes and my Revolutionary War attire going with the song. And of course, that one gets all the views.
Yeah, that's awesome. dude.
Always how it goes.
That's great. Yeah, of course. It really is.
It doesn't take a lot nowadays.
No.
Yeah, we were just. I mean, even the brain rot. I mean, I wonder if like the Revolutionary War guys, Continental Army, or like the Civil War guys ever like Or was there brain rot back in the day?
I think it was actual brain rot. I think they were dealing with some tough times. I think that was, I would imagine.
It was the dysentery and the yellow fever.
The circumstances were not necessarily ideal, yeah.
The trench
Syphilis
foot.
didn't do it, didn't number.
Sure. Shout out Benny Franks.
Yeah,
we
hey,
appreciate
thanks for electricity, by the way.
Of course.
So back to another one of the ghosts. I wrote a couple here that I wanted to talk to you about. Jacob the Blacksmith. Going back to bad names, that's a cool name.
Well, yeah, that's because we know that there was a blacksmith here named Jacob Sauer. Cool. And we believe he might be a spirit that's quite fond of opening and closing, just opening the blacksmith door, which is the blacksmith building built in 1778. And numerous tour guides here at the fort, myself included, have closed that door at the end of a long day only to turn around and find it open again. On windless days, people have seen that door open on its own. On one occasion, it was actually not only open, but blown off its hinges and sent a foot back. It had to be repaired and nailed up after that. People have also seen tools moving back and forth in the blacksmith shop. They've seen a man wearing an apron, sometimes just from the waist up in the blacksmith shop. So he's the blacksmith ghost.
Did pants on?
I don't know. I mean, if he's from the waist up, you can't really tell. But
That-
presumably, I would hope he had.
That almost feels like the world that we're living in now. We're all around the same age. We're never going to get to retire, and it's going to get so bad that they're going to be like, in the afterlife, you still have to do your job. So that poor blacksmith is like, I can't even collect my pension until 3 eons from now. That poor guy, man. Sheesh.
The judge sentences him to 4 life sentences.
Oh gosh, man.
So the blacksmith. Did anyone ever walk into the blacksmith place and just be like, knock it off, Jacob, all right? We're just trying to do our jobs here.
Well, there's sometimes even when I've been working here where it's just, the end of a long day. And for example, at the end of the ghost tours, right, we have everything's candlelit here. We turn out all the lights and we light everything by candle. It's my job to blow out all the candles a lot of the time and all the torches. So complete darkness when I do it, just a flashlight.
It's crazy.
And sometimes, even though, I'm not sure, I go in there and I say, listen, if there's anything in here that wants to bother me, just please, I've had a long day. Then I go and blow them all out. And fortunately, nothing is.
They're not hazing you?
They're not hazing me. Just in case, it just helps.
You can tell us. Blink twice.
That's how I talk to my girlfriend at the end of the day. I'm like, if anybody here is going to bother me, I swear to God, I'll be out of your hair in 2 seconds. I'll blow the candles out, leave it alone.
Just want to take a bath.
Pretty much,
Yeah, sure.
Damn. So what other jobs do? You got candle blowing out? What other kind of jobs do they make you do?
Oh, I mean, you do a little bit of everything here. We have to deal with all sorts of stuff, from just, gift shop to sometimes there's animals we have to deal with. It's really jack of all trades job here at the fort.
What kind of animals?
Well, we have deer and geese and stuff here all the time.
You got haunted animals?
I don't think so. Oh, good question. Some people have heard dogs barking here.
Okay.
There have been paranormal investigators, and that does line up. So back in the day, we've had guard dogs here at the fort, and officers staying here at the fort would have been allowed to live here with their pets and their families and stuff like that. But yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
You know what kind of dogs?
I don't know what kind
I
of
just don't want it to be like some Shih Tzu or something like that.
I can't imagine they had Shih Tzus on the premise back then.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that breed existed for.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
a while.
I just hope it was like a nice little German Shepherd, maybe a Rottweiler.
Yeah, German Shepherds. That was World War II. We dealt with a lot of German Shepherds back
That's true.
then.
Yeah,
So going back to working here, what's the process like? You obviously have to study a ton and be very well versed in the this area. Like, what's that look like?
Oh, well, I mean, you typically go on a few tours, just kind of shadow them and listen to what the tour guide's saying. But then, of course, you're kind of supervised for your first couple tours to make sure you're repeating all the correct stuff. And then afterwards, you're kind of set loose to give your own tours. And I've done a lot of research on this place. I've become very, very attached to it. This book's fantastic. I call it the Bible of Fort Mifflin.
What's it called?
It's called Fort Mifflin of Philadelphia, an Illustrated History by Jeffrey Dorwart.
All right.
It's not even in print anymore, but it's a shame because it's got the best info on everything here at the fort.
Can't
There's
get
so
it
much
on an
history.
audiobook?
You might be able to, but I think it's a little too old for that.
Sure.
And it's just an incredible place with so much history.
Yeah. Nice.
So this was so you had an initial interest in here. You're going through the process. So you're watching tours and your actual training and to be able to take people on the tours. Is it just watching a couple tours and then you're kind of good to go, or it's just really kind of going off that book? How long does it take? Is it a couple month period, a year period?
I would say it took me probably a couple months to get the tour down pat. And then afterwards, kind of through the years, I've been able to kind of give, one of the things that I've learned to do is, depending on, for example, how long people have, I can give a 30-second, a 30-minute, or an hour-long tour about the fort. Sometimes you have to go quick, sometimes you have to go slow. It depends on what you're dealing with. And yeah, you just basically, you shadow some tours, and then you're supervised on a couple tours, and then you're set free, so to speak.
There's got to be some interpersonal skills. You're dealing with just total different walks of life, families, a couple guys that are just here to check out the thing. Is there any kind of thing they train you on, dealing with those dynamics, or it's kind of just...
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, for example, especially on the ghost tours, when I see that it's all adults, I can get into the really nitty-gritty, gruesome details.
Nice.
But when I'm dealing with second graders, I don't tell them about the decapitations if I can't.
Yeah, sure.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
They can watch this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the kids are gritty, do you put them in prison?
It's tempting, but
I don't
no, I
blame you.
get to do that.
I don't blame you. I would, if I ever worked here, I would.
It just made me feel very
I'd put
old.
so many kids in prison.
100%. Kids go stand.
I'd lock these doors fast as hell.
That's the parking lot. Kids go stand in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about decapitations.
No, 100%.
Uh-huh.
One thing that I think is really interesting about this place is obviously like it's so much history, so much people have died here, but like it's stretched over like centuries too. Like I was watching something on this where it was like before the Philadelphia International Airport, which if you hear in this, you probably hear some planes that are flying over this casemate. This used to be a dumping ground for the mob.
There are, I have heard occasions of that happening in the marshes around the airport. I mean, we are pretty secluded out here.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details on that, but there have been on occasion some instances of that I've heard of.
That's crazy.
So there is like a really kind of persistent aura of death that is drawn across decades. I mean, not decades, centuries at this point. So
I mean, certainly, like I said, we had the battle, we had disease, we had executions, we had numerous people die here. This was actually, the fort was used to store explosives for a very long time. After the Civil War and World War I and World War II, they were storing thousands of tons of bombs here. And on a couple occasions, they blew up and killed a lot of people.
Damn.
So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Did the paranormal investigators that have been here a few times, have they kind of come in and said that this place has like a kind of a push you off aura, like it is kind of like a darker place, or they have a different read on it? Have you gotten any kind of information on that?
I think it's all dependent on the different paranormal investigators I've talked to. Some of them certainly feel a lot more negative than others, like negative aura to the place. Oh man, I'm using one of those brain rots here.
It's all good.
They feel a lot more of a negative aura to the place.
Yeah. 6, 7. Let's go. We got the union. You got to do 6, 7. That's huge.
Where's the man at the fire? 6, 7.
We won the Civil War in 1867.
What's your aura? Go back to your aura. The aura that surrounds this place. Some people say it's negative.
Some people say it's negative. Some people have had more of a positive interaction. But pretty much every paranormal investigation group that's come here has said that there is a lot of activity here. It's why I think we recently just ranked 6th most haunted place in the United States,
Really?
which is pretty high achievement when you think about it.
Yeah, and right down the street is like Eastern State Penitentiary. Is there a rivalry right there?
Oh, well, but my sister actually works there in the
Hell
Halloween.
yeah.
Really?
Funny, so you got a little bit of an ongoing thing.
Is she like a character tour guide herself, or she's just works there?
She does both. She does the history and the character tour guide stuff. She had a lot of fun.
Did
with
you do the
that.
haunted house?
Oh, I did the haunted house.
The haunted house is great.
But by the way, we always beat them on those polls.
100%. I like that. I like that.
Let's
I
go.
love the rivalry.
Let's
I love
go.
it. I love it. No, it's funny because like I never really knew about Fort Mifflin. I knew about like Fort Mifflin, the battle, but I didn't know how close it was to not only Philadelphia but the airport and everything. And when I read about it, it just feels like there's so much history and there's so much. It has equal parts history and equal parts death. I don't have a question. I just kind of want to gas up so that the spirits don't haunt me.
No, certainly. We love you guys, and we think you're doing better work than the Eastern State. I mean, it's so.
Oh, wow.
No, we do.
They are our friends. We do a
We
lot
said
of
that, not you guys. We're not putting that on you.
No, Connor, I need you for this podcast. I need you to say it so they don't come. They don't come near us. I felt someone tickle my Achilles. What other kind of ghosts do you know that you can tell us? Because we do a podcast, obviously Men at Work. What do you do for a living is kind of the tagline and everything. Are there any other kind of ghosts that have a story that you want to tell or what they did for a job here?
Well, there's one called the Lamplighter, and it's, again, one of the more tame ghost stories that we have. Now, back in the day, it was the duty of a guy called the Lamplighter to light all the oil lamps around the fort.
Now it's Connor.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
to just
now
blow
it's me.
them all out.
I light them out, I light them and I blow them out.
You're the enemy of the Lamplighter.
Yeah, you're taking his job.
The
dude.
Lamplighter probably haunts your ass all the time. Lamplighter, I'm coming here to blow out the candles. Like, please don't be
I'm
mean.
sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, before you had light switches, somebody literally had to come along and light every single one. And to this day, people have seen just a flickering flame hovering throughout the fort, most associated with the barracks building. So it's been seen floating on the porch in front of the barracks, associated with the sound of boot steps on gravel, which is kind of interesting because nowadays the porch is paved with stone, but back then it would have been paved with crushed up seashells. So they're hearing the sound of what was there then and not what's there today.
Oh. Wow.
What about William Howe? I did a little bit digging. There was a guy named William Howe who was the only person that was ever executed at Fort Mifflin.
He's not necessarily the only person executed. We do know that there were some executions by firing squad in the War of 1812, but Private Howe was hanged here at Fort Mifflin, yes. He was a deserter who was hanged here.
Oh, wow.
So Howe had deserted the Union Army, and they sent 2 officers after him. A gunfight broke out in the middle of the night. One of those officers was dead. There's conflicts about the story. There are a lot of people who think that he was railroaded. But either way, he was convicted and sentenced to death. An appeal went all the way to President Lincoln, who just shot it down.
Really?
So he was held here at Fort Mifflin, held here in casemate number 5 for a brief period of time, tried to escape, held in the solitary confinement casemate. Then he was actually brought to Eastern State Penitentiary. So we do actually have a lot of connections with them. He was brought to Eastern State Penitentiary for a brief period of time while he was undergoing his trial, where, of course, they sentenced him to death and brought him here to be hanged.
Wow.
Wow, jeez.
And then he's the faceless ghost, a lot of people think, right?
Yes, so there's one of two people we think might be the Faceless Man. He's seen in casemate number 5. Howe, we speculate, might have had a sackcloth drawn over his head when he was hanged, which was kind of standard practice for the time. So maybe he shows himself as a Faceless Man to show how his identity was taken from him at death. The other theory for who the Faceless Man is, and should I explain who the Faceless Man is?
Yeah,
first?
go ahead. Yeah.
Please, yeah.
So, Faceless Man is a man dressed in period attire that's been seen in casemate number 5 on numerous occasions. When people enter the casemate, this man is usually standing facing away from them and looking at the wall adjacent to them.
It's terrifying.
When they try to get closer to him, he doesn't do anything. When they try to call out to him, he doesn't respond. But if they get a little too close, the man turns around to reveal that he has no face. Now, some people have said this means he has no eyebrows, no nose, no mouth, just simply a blank slate where a face should be. And others, perhaps more frighteningly, say that there is simply a gaping hole in his head where his face once was.
Ooh.
Either way, pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I bet you William Howe wishes that it was no face, no case back in the
It's
day.
William Hole at that point. Poor guy.
The other theory for who it could be is Nathan Stoddard, who was a Revolutionary War soldier who was decapitated by a cannonball during the battle.
A lot of modern names.
Yeah, there's quite a few modern
There's no
names.
like Cornelius Finger looking good. Like
Okay, well, what is that?
that's a Union War general.
Let's talk about that.
Famous Revolutionary War general.
Yeah, Cornelius Finger looking good.
I think you're thinking about
Grandfather
Colonel
of
Sanders.
Oh, that's my
that's
bad,
him.
my bad.
Of course, yes.
But yeah, there's all like a Nathans and Mikes and Williams and stuff. It's like that sounds like my 8th grade graduating class.
Sounds like some very white ghosts. Was it just, I guess, a predominantly white ghost kind of?
Well, I
I
mean,
guess you guys can't really. There's not a census, I guess, for like.
I haven't really seen.
What was the census for casemate 1?
Yeah, we haven't really gotten the demographics on them.
Yeah, I imagine that's tough to do. Yeah. I mean, so like growing up, I mean, did you have any kind of like hesitance towards being near the paranormal, or you were always interested in it?
I mean, I've kind of always found it really interesting, especially from like a historical standpoint, because I do consider ghosts to be part of folklore. I think they're part of the stories that we tell about places and the legends that we tell, and they're a part of history. And it's, for example, I've loved going to Gettysburg since I was a little kid, so I always loved going on the ghost tours there. And it's part of, like I said, I come back here just to do the ghost tours because I love them just that much. And people really like them, and it's also kind of, not gonna lie, it's a good avenue to kind of sneak in lessons about history while talking about the ghosts, kind of
Sure.
like edutainment type thing. So when we tell the stories here, we always do tie them back to the history of the fort. All of these stories aren't simply just made up to tell in the ghost stories. We do tie them always back to actual events and actual people here.
Yeah. Gettysburg, that's a tough place to be a tour guide.
I've heard, we've heard that is like one of the most difficult places to get past as a tour guide. Are you familiar with that at all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the test there is incredibly rigorous. To be licensed to be a tour guide on the field there, it's like I think 90% fail rate. I will admit, though, that is an ultimate career goal for me someday. Hopefully, we'll see.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see.
So I mean, if you can give us some more specifics about that, because we've seen the same kind of like, there was like a news broadcast that talked about that there's like a 95 fail rate. What is the difficulty? Is it like you need to know down to the very minutia of it? Like, why is it so challenging?
Well, they want the tour guides at Gettysburg to be telling the most accurate depictions of the battle and what happened there as possible. They don't want any misinformation being spread. So they want people to be the best of the best for those things. And it is really, really tough. So like I said, we'll see if someday I can get to that point, but it is a goal.
I bet you they got a census.
Yeah, they definitely got a lot of loss over there. I'd imagine that's kind of like the growing theme that happens over there.
So I think little children. I think children ghosts are so much scarier than adult ghosts.
Yeah.
Are there any children ghosts here?
Right. So there was once a family that lived here called the Pratt family.
Oh, they just moved out?
They just moved out.
They got evicted. Yeah, rent's going crazy no matter where you're at these days. It's unbelievable. I can't keep up with it myself. So yeah.
A little over 23 years ago. They lived here in 1802 and 1803. Now, yellow fever was pretty much rife in Philadelphia by this point. It was tapering down from the epidemic, but there was still plenty of it. The yellow fever epidemic in Philadelphia killed thousands. It's a terrible disease which literally turns your skin yellow. Terrible way to die. Living here in the early 1800s was the Pratt family. Now, I mentioned earlier, officers could live here with their families, their wives, their children, their servants, their pets. Elizabeth Pratt lived here with her 2 children and her husband, Sergeant Pratt. In June of 1802, she lost one of her children to yellow fever. December of 1802, she lost the other. Both of her
Damn.
children gone. A few months after that, in 1803, Elizabeth Pratt herself died from the disease.
Oh.
Now, we do know that the Pratts were actually buried on site. Reason being, there's a newspaper article that mentions how they were exhumed and brought to a cemetery in Philadelphia. The problem with that is if you go to that cemetery in Philadelphia and you look at Elizabeth Pratt's grave, it says Elizabeth Pratt and child. One child.
Oh.
So either the grave maker made a mistake, or there is a child buried here at Fort Mifflin.
Wow.
And we don't know. We know where they were buried, but there's never been a dig as far as
We need a census.
We definitely, I think the census kind of thing is starting to grow. We really should have gotten a census. Is there any potential for like a historical inaccuracy? Maybe there was only one child, or it's pretty concrete?
It's pretty concrete. We have the records that they were buried here, and we have the records that they died here.
Where's Sarge buried?
The sergeant didn't die from yellow fever. I'm not sure what happened to him.
All right.
So
he's
he
probably smart.
lived.
Got the
He
hell
just
out of
lost
here.
his entire family.
Yeah.
Now, on numerous occasions, paranormal investigators have heard the sounds of children laughing.
Mm-hmm.
They've heard a child saying "mommy." They've heard a child saying Emma or Emily. And then, perhaps most frighteningly, I've heard on one occasion there was somebody here who heard a child say, whisper into their ear, "Yellow is a bad color."
Oh my God. Okay.
Honestly, you know what? I agree.
That's going to be in the nightmares tonight. That's a pretty good one.
Never been a yellow guy. Always
Yeah.
been blue. Blue, green, purple.
Yeah.
I'm kind of blue myself,
Yellow.
you know.
That's a tough one. Hearing that phrase is pretty uneasy. I had a nightmare literally last night for the first time, so I'm going to redo it tonight. That's going to be a little scary. If I hear yellow is a scary color in my ear tonight, me and my girlfriend are going to have a talk. It's going to be something to talk about. Yellow is a scary color. Wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that's like why I said I'm very glad that I haven't had that many paranormal experiences
Yeah.
here, because I probably would have quit pretty early on if something like that happened.
Yeah.
Are they ever funny?
Funny.
They play jokes?
Well, I mean, you got like Jacob Sauer, who likes opening the door all
I
the
don't think
time.
that's funny. That's a dickhead move.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Maybe it's
trying
funny
to get out of
him.
here, dude. I gotta go into my family.
Yeah, you know, drive home after a long day and
You
he's just
worked a
constantly
grueling
opening it
8
behind me.
hours. Kids are grittying all over the case, mate. Like,
Oh,
and
man.
Jacob Sauer's just playing games.
Yeah.
You know what, Mary? I want to see him later on. We're gonna have a talking. We're gonna have a talk.
No, we're not. No, we're not. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Knock it off.
Okay, don't yell at them.
Sorry.
Yeah, I hear you.
Please knock it off.
It's still worse.
But are they ever funny?
I haven't heard of too many instances of them being funny, but I mean, maybe they got a sense of humor if they like doing. That's one thing I thought. If I was a ghost, I'd probably want to just kind of mess with people. I'd kind of be bored. If you sit in the same place for so long, you kind of play some little pranks on them. Maybe that ghost thought it was funny to do those boot steps while I was trying to sleep. I mean, yeah, we might think it's a jerk move, but maybe they think it's funny. Who knows?
That's a good point. Yeah, if you were a ghost, where do you think you would linger? Where would be your go-to spot?
Here at the fort?
No, just anywhere in your life.
McDonald's.
In Connor's life, if Connor became a ghost,
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
where do you think?
There are probably some fun places you could be a ghost.
Yeah.
The fort, I don't know. I don't think the fort would be too fun. I think it'd get pretty drab after a while.
Yeah.
I'd
Like
have
a
to
ball
think about
pit. Ball pit.
The ball pit.
ball
Really?
pit.
What? That's kind of a good time.
Right on some 6-year-old's forehead. Oh.
Okay,
No face, no case.
Ball pit is certainly the leader in the category as of now. But anywhere you saw growing up that you're like, man, I wish I could just bother folks in the afterlife here. Nothing you've ever seen?
I think a haunted house would actually be a fantastic place to be a ghost if you think about it.
Isn't that a little on the nose, though?
It is a little on the nose, but that's why it'd be so fun.
Sure.
Connor, that's a good point because, like, again, I've never had an experience with paranormal before. I don't know if you have. You can tell it after, but like, I love haunted houses because I can disassociate myself from it, being like, this is all just temple kids who are like working on their acting degree and they just want to, they just want to do this and stuff. And haunted houses have never freaked me out. But I always think, and it's crazy that no one's ever done a movie on this unless I've never seen it before, but like, how does no one ever sneak on those haunted houses that's just like some deranged maniac from like a psych ward and like pretend to be the guy? You ever been on a corn maze and the guy with the chainsaw comes out and puts it on your knee?
God, I've never done one of those. No,
You never done one of those? Yeah, those ones
I've done
are
Eastern
crazy.
State plenty of times.
Wait, that's what you're scared of? You're scared of the corn maze and you work here, too?
Yeah, I mean, that's something where I know somebody's going to jump out and scare me. But here, it's like most of the time they haven't bothered me. It's
You're
fine.
not a haunted house guy. You're a literal haunted house guy.
Yeah.
I guess you could put it that way. Yeah, I mean, like I can't stand being scared like that. Now, I mean, like I said, I support my sister over at Eastern State, and she's worked the haunted house there plenty of times. Shout out to Alexa. And I just can't do that very much, though, because it freaks me the heck out. Here, though, it's a little more calm. Just the jumping out kind of scary thing. And that's why I like the ghost tours that we do here, the candlelight ghost tours, because we are just you, the lantern, the candle, and the ghost. That's it. That's
sure.
We don't jump out and scare people. We don't have any actors. We just tell you the stories and we tell you the history, and we let you decide and let you experience.
I'll be honest with you. Has there been ever? I know you guys have good security here, so I don't want anyone doing this or anything. But has there ever been like some nefarious beings that you guys have found in one of the casemates? Maybe like a homeless guy or someone who was just maybe a little drunk, found themselves and like, boo.
No. Nothing like that's ever happened.
All right, just make sure.
We've always had to make sure that people from our tours don't leave them, though, because you want to make sure that somebody's not wandering off in the fort. For example, I always say, one of the ghosts we talk about is the sentries. The sentries. So like a sentry on duty.
Okay, yeah.
What's that?
A guard.
Oh, like the
Guard,
gunman?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So the tanks?
Yeah, one of these big dogs.
Basically, we have a rule that nobody's allowed on top of the walls after dark. Reason being is it's just too dangerous up there. If you fall off, you're going to break your leg, no doubt. But on numerous occasions at night, people have seen ghosts carrying muskets walking along the walls on sentry duty, which is what they would have done back then. In the battle, for example, they would have been keeping people out. When it was a Civil War prison, they probably would have been keeping people in. And people still see these sentries on duty to this day, it seems. So I always say on my tours, if you see anybody on top of the walls, let me know, because if they're not a ghost, I need to yell at them.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I'm not snitching.
That's very. I mean, I think there's an opportunity to kind of meld these two experiences together between a haunted house, like what your sister does, and what you do. Where if you're in the middle of a haunted house, you're in the Eastern State Penitentiary, you get somebody popping out 3 times in a row, and then you pop out and you're like, this place was condemned back in 1604. And then you kind of keep it in, like it's like you said.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I've seen places do that. There's some places in Gettysburg that do that, for example. It's an intriguing thought.
Also, I'll wear the necklace so that you can touch me and take me away.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I did that once. No.
That's the best experience of all time.
Not for me.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff either. No.
It's all fake.
This is
still
real.
Freaks me out.
You say it's all fake, but it's still a real person that's allowed to grab you. That's where.
How have they? I'm giving people free movie idea, or maybe I'm giving some. I don't want anyone to do this, but like if somebody breaks out of the psych ward, goes right to a haunted house.
That's never
and
been
pretend. That's crazy.
It has
That
to
hasn't been a horror movie. That's a great idea.
I think it has to have been a movie. I think there's a movie called. I wish I could think what it's called. They've made like 3 or 4 of them. There's a new one coming out, but I think it's something to that effect, where they start a haunted house and then there's somebody from like a psych ward that breaks in and they kind of do their own thing. Not quite a Michael Myers, but something to that effect.
I don't know, dude. I think I got shit.
It's definitely something to keep in the wheelhouse.
You got to patent that.
I do it, yeah, right, exactly. I'm trying to figure out. Screaming Lady.
Right. So the Screaming Lady is probably one of the more famous haunts here at the fort. It is, as the name suggests, the sound of a woman screaming loudly in pain, echoing throughout the walls of the fort. Now, one of the things that people have put online about this lady all the time is that it was some woman who hanged herself, which is, well, there's 2 problems with that. If she hanged herself, how is she screaming?
Sure.
It's kind of hard to do that with a rope around your neck. And also, no woman ever hanged herself. There's no records of that here at the fort. But there is records of a woman named Elizabeth Bunker, who was here during the Civil War, and she suffered from a disease known as gastritis, which is an inflammation of the stomach lining. It's something very curable today. It's not going to kill you today. We got modern medicine.
Yeah, Joel Embiid has it every couple of weeks. If you look it up, there's a guy on the Sixers who's had gastritis, I think, 4 or 5 times throughout a season.
Runs through the Sixers every year.
Yeah, literally runs.
Yep. Go figure. Well, I mean, in the most severe cases of gastritis, if untreated, the stomach lining can erode, and then your stomach acid starts to attack the stomach itself. So you're just digesting yourself from the inside out. Really horrible way to die. And we know Elizabeth Bunker would have suffered for this disease for days or weeks on end here at the fort before succumbing to it, right on the fort's grounds. She either died in the hospital building, which is across the way over there, or in the officers' quarters. And the officers' quarters is where people have heard the Screaming Lady almost every time it has been heard. People have seen a woman up there on the porch as well of the officers' quarters. And on 2 occasions, the Philadelphia Police Department have actually been called to Fort Mifflin for the sound of this Screaming Lady. The officers themselves heard it as well. They wandered around, they'd heard the sound of the Screaming Lady, they couldn't find anything, and left.
Wow.
What's your favorite story? What's your favorite ghost story from here?
Personally, the Faceless Man. I think the Faceless Man creeps me out the most. Just thinking about a man turning around to reveal that he has no face or simply a hole in his face is something I've never been able to go in the casement of fire without thinking about that.
Sure.
It just freaks me out.
I don't want to laugh, but I think I just laughed.
You think you well, you say that at first, but then it gets a little.
And I see case May 5.
The old school go. I mean, since people have worked here, I mean, this has been running for how long? Since the
70s.
So
Since
we
it became a museum in the 70s. The fort was decommissioned, so this was still part of an active army base all the way until 1954. So right after the Korean War. Right next door, they still operate. They're called Fort Mifflin. They're still Fort. So basically, what they took is they took the old brick and mortar fort and said, this is way too old, we can't keep using this, but we'll keep using the rest of the base. And the rest of the base still operates. The National Guard and Army Corps of Engineers are over there. We get their mail sometimes as well, actually, which isn't good. You'd think the USPS guy would be paying more attention, but no. We get like Department of Defense mail, like, no, over there.
Yeah.
Not to mention when guests ignore all the signs and wander onto an active military base, which, you know.
And stuff sledding, yeah. Is there any, so I guess it's been decommissioned, that started being a museum in the 70s. Are there any ghosts that have maybe popped up, like an 80s or 90s ghost? I know, like a lot of, for the most part, there's a lot of people, yeah, true, maybe so.
Well, these stories go back decades. I mean, frankly, probably they originate sometime, if I were to guess, I haven't really done too much research into this. It's actually something I'm trying to do now, is research into when these stories start to emerge. I mean, the Victorians liked coming here. In between wars, this fort was kind of desolate and empty. The Victorians liked coming here, and they admired just how like peaceful and almost eerie it was to be here, and they talked about the battle and the deaths. But when the first ghost stories are here, I think they emerged probably in that time between 1954 and the 70s, when it was abandoned for a period of time. People came on and just kind of explored, urbexed around, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We also had a lot of stuff stolen from here during that time, unfortunately.
Oh, geez.
As a consequence. But yeah.
Any ghosts you have beef with?
I don't have any beef with the ghosts, no. Not yet, at least. I mean, if one interrupts my work, I'd probably be kind of annoyed.
Okay.
Fortunately, no beef with the ghosts, no.
The blacksmith, I know. So I'm actually interested in like kind of like the tourism industry as a whole. Like, what's the future of the tourism industry and the future of this fort look like? I mean, obviously, talking about Eastern State, they do an audio tour of Steve Buscemi. AI is coming and whatnot. Gen Z doesn't leave their house. Like, what do you think, apparently, that like the future of kind of tourism and like your guys like forts and what you do here? What do you think the future looks like for that?
Ooh, it's a good question. I mean, it's difficult with budget cuts to a lot of historic sites and stuff that are happening as of late to kind of picture what the future might look like for some places. The fort, I would love to see a lot of money poured into this place. We have some work that's going to be done on the sluice gate to help with the flooding. It certainly needs some work, and we do rely almost entirely on donations and our revenue from people coming here. So that's why we're so thankful for these ghost tours and for the regular tours that we do all the time, because that's how we keep this place running. Mm-hmm. I hope that this place can get a lot of the repairs and things like that, because certainly there are some things that need some repairs. The sluice gate, for example, the moat needs to be dredged. There's some work that needs to be done. But I think that one day this place will be restored and look fantastic for the future. That's my hope, at least. Yeah.
Sure. And I know a lot of people can volunteer if they're like carpenters or they're electricians.
Absolutely.
Or like I know. So we'll have an entire thing in the description of this podcast, everything that you can help, donation links, volunteer links and stuff. Yep. So we'll make sure we do all that.
Electricians, plumbers, landscapers, everybody who might be able to lend a hand here, we'd be happy for your help.
No sissies, though.
Yeah, maybe some sissies. We kind of doesn't sound like beggars can be choosers, but we need everybody we can get. No, so we briefly, because I think we're kind of getting close to wrapping here. But so you said that Fort Mifflin is number 6 most haunted.
Yep, USA Today.
Eastern State is, I imagine, in that.
I actually don't know. I didn't check, but I know we constantly beat them most years. But
Love that.
Like I said, though, they're our friends. I don't mean
sure.
It's a big
no, this is just, it's a nice, friendly competition.
They've got their brochures over here. They got our brochures. We chat and stuff like that. They're good. They're cool.
So who's number 1? Who is the across the country? Would you know offhand?
Gettysburg has to be up there.
I don't know. Gettysburg. I think Gettysburg might be up there. You guys? What's that?
Trans-Allegheny.
Oh, not
Where's
familiar.
that?
I don't know. I assume in the Alleghenies.
In Kentucky. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Kentucky.
That tracks. I mean,
that makes complete sense. Okay.
Lunatic asylums, I would say, are definitely very scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Penhurst, you ever been there?
I've never been there, but I've heard a lot about it. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. No, Pennsylvania's got some great haunted areas just in this like Philadelphia area.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Eastern State is one of them. It's incredibly spooky. We've got a lot of colonial history to the area.
This one's so much spookier, and I'm not just gassing you up. Like we walked in here, and I was like, I called him on the way over here, and I was just like, I'm genuinely nervous.
Yeah.
No, like I said, you always get that feeling, and that's one thing I can't shake while working here is that feeling of being watched. Especially when I'm here alone, it doesn't really go away.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no haunted places in like California. I feel like they have it all good over there.
It's too nice.
Is there any places in California that are haunted? Is that right?
I was going to say the Winchester
I guess the
House.
Manson murder house would probably be one of them. The Sharon Tate house. I just watched something on that. But I mean, like Florida, could you imagine, like with the humidity, sweating
This is
all
a
over you?
70-year-old tan guy from New Jersey who lives in Florida now. It's
Yeah,
like
it's like I was just a
not really worried about his.
snowbird here. I
Yeah.
had a snowboard. I choked on a daiquiri.
The ghost of Key West Pass. Yeah, of course. yeah.
There were actually. I was in Key West last weekend. There was a ghost guy in a striped pajamas. He apparently just roamed the halls.
Guy in the striped pajamas was roaming the halls in the hotel you stayed at.
Yeah, in the hotel I stayed at.
Really?
Yeah.
It's part of the allure, I guess.
Yeah. If I would have saw that, I'd be like, dude, go to bed.
Yeah. Is there, we were talking about before we had started, like Ghost Hunter is a very popular show in like the early 2000s. Is there any like who's the big paranormal investigators now that everyone's kind of tuning into?
Ooh, I know Portals to Hell was one show that was recently here. They're pretty popular. There's Ghost Hunters did come here as well. Ghost Adventures came here. Pretty much every big name ghost show has come here. I'm not sure what the most popular at the moment is. I remember watching those shows all the time as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Never saw Ghost though.
Well, at least they never got like the actual ghosts on camera a lot of the time, but they got all sorts of spooky stuff. Sometimes it was a little bit dramatic. I think they were playing.
Thank you.
They were playing things up quite a bit. In my
Thank you.
opinion.
Come on, guys.
It
What
was
the hell?
entertaining.
I loved those shows. Don't say it was dramatic. It was a wonderful
At the end
experience.
of the day, there's some executive in some boardroom up in the sky being like, I need more inconspicuous footsteps.
Yeah. I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
For a second.
If we don't add more
Some of those old ones.
inconspicuous footsteps to this 30-minute documentary, how are we going to sell this thing?
God forbid they put a smile on 9-year-old me's face with some fake footsteps. All
We
right?
need footsteps. We got to sell bleach.
Double time footsteps. Yeah.
Well, I'm amazed when the ghost hunters come here at the fort. They will set up I'm trying to remember they will set up a recorder. EVP recorder, so like electro voice phenomenon. They'll set those up in the casemates, and they'll sit around them for hours, absolutely dead silent. And they will do this in shifts. They'll rotate, so you're not actually just sitting there in silence forever, but they will sit there as long as it takes to get some recordings or footage or any evidence that they can. And I admire the work ethic of them, to be honest.
Sure.
It's impressive because they'll do this at like 3 a.m. They will be up all night when they rent this place out. It's incredible.
Wow.
Do you have a significant other?
No, not at the moment.
Do you ever try to, maybe break out the union garb a little bit? Be like, hey, what's up?
Kind of nice.
Yeah,
I get you free admission to Fort Mifflin.
Yeah, there's some nice reenactors on the market, perhaps. I don't know.
Okay. All right. There's some nice reenact. Okay.
You never know.
All right.
Wow. Okay. We don't have to elaborate.
The pond is getting a little smaller. We only want reenactors, but that's fine. Whatever. You gotta have similar interests.
A lot of butter churner reenactors that are walking around here
If
that
you're
are
a trad wife on TikTok,
not-
there's your man. You like
not
to
too
go
bad
out to
looking.
Gettysburg, and maybe no Confederate soldier reenactors though.
Probably, we
Not at all.
have to work that out.
Yeah, they want to rematch. They're like, let's do it again. We've learned from the error of our ways. Yeah, sure. A quick one last thing. So I'm kind of curious, and to the extent that you could talk about this, is there any kind of like, trying to think the best way to ask this, like religious kind of pushback or anything from like people that come in here that are like, practicing a certain creed that might not agree with the paranormal? Do you see that at all?
I personally have never seen it. I know that, of course, when we try to keep the history and the paranormal separate on a lot of occasions. So, for example, when groups of school kids come here, we don't talk about the ghosts. Not only because it just doesn't seem appropriate for a history tour, but also if you do that, the kids never shut up about them.
Yeah.
They can't concentrate on anything history if you're telling them about the ghosts because they're just kind of scared the whole time.
Yeah.
So I haven't really met anybody with religious sensibilities offended per se, but we do try to keep them separate when it applies.
Okay.
And we were talking to Rebecca earlier. She said that the only place, Gesundheit, is that the ghost or is that you? Ghost. Okay.
They call him, he walks the halls, he's called the sneezer.
Get that guy some Claritin. Get that ghost of Claritin. The ghost that sneezed just totally threw me off. What was I just asking?
The kids that come here,
No,
the
the-
religious.
We were talking to Rebecca earlier, and she said the only place that you guys have not seen ghosts, I want to say, is the church. Could I be wrong, or is that right or wrong? The Arsenal. Never mind.
Okay.
Cut that.
I wonder why that might be. So there's no ghosts in the Arsenal that have ever been seen. Is there any theories as to why that is?
Because they're Tottenham fans. That's the 3 soccer fans. That
Yeah,
that
for
might get the
our
joke.
big MLB fan base.
MLS, dude.
No, sure. All right. Oh, yeah, great point. All right. Shows how big of a fan I am, sure. Nice job, Sneezer. You threw me off.
That's a good question. I mean, frankly, I'd be a little more suspicious if literally everything around here actually had some sort of ghost associated with it. It could just be that there simply is no ghost associated with it or no ghost haunting it. I'm sure somebody has probably heard some whispers or there's been some activity by the Arsenal, but it could just be that the Arsenal, none of the spirits are interested in it. It just happens, I suppose.
You have any recommendations for anybody who want to get into tour guides? What to do?
Look at your local historic sites. There are plenty of volunteer positions available, and getting that experience in as a volunteer might be really helpful to then look into it as a job. Certainly here in the Philadelphia area, there's no shortage of history. There's plenty of places that are hiring. Yeah, I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in history. That helps, but you don't necessarily need a degree for some places. Experience sometimes is welcome, though. So like I said, if you want to get in, volunteer first, and then look into sites that might be hiring.
What jobs did you have before tour guide?
Oh, all sorts of stuff. I was working fast food. I was working...
Where you working fast food at?
I was actually at Dairy Queen.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice, I like that.
Yeah.
You guys get free blizzards?
No, we don't do... Well, it's that, you know the thing, the upside down thing you got to do with the blizzards? That's at participating locations. So we actually never did it. And we weren't a participating location. So when you flipped it up, people would always be like, why didn't you flip it upside down? I get it free. And I'd have to say, nope. There's a little asterisk there.
You read the fine print.
Yeah,
That's
read the fine
crazy.
print.
At participating locations, they only do the flip.
It's at participating locations. Yeah. This is the last thing I expected to talk about.
No, yeah, my stupid content brain which just went right to, oh, that's a flip.
Dairy Queen.
Wait, so Dairy Queen only has participating locations because if you do the flip and it falls out, they get it for free, right?
I think something like that. Or they have to do the flip before they hand it to you before it's free or something, but not at mine. We just didn't do it. Plus, it was really, really fast, so doing that over and over again would have taken freaking forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, handed out like 6 blizzards to a whole family in a car, and there's like 20 people behind them going, okay, hold on.
It's true. Yeah.
That's if there's any haunted fast food place, it's got to be Dairy Queen. It's cold everywhere. You don't know where there's a spirit, or it's just like the refrigerator going off. It kind of makes sense. It feels like it's nice, an environment they'd want to be in.
It's only a place where people go from like 6 p.m. to like close.
Yeah, true. Late night.
I've never eaten dinner at a Dairy
There's some fake paranormal investigators like, oh, you got to leave the machines on. We're going to be here all night. Just eat a bunch of soft serve. I could totally see that. Yeah.
Fries are really good.
Fries are good?
Fries are good, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not a bad burger either.
What's your favorite blizzard?
I really liked the Reese's one. Reese's.
Okay.
Got to go with Reese's.
I was at Oreo with the marshmallow.
Nice.
That's really good.
I like an Oreo with a marshmallow, yeah. Not bad.
Have you ever had a paranormal? We have to kill like 5 minutes here to get an hour.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any paranormal experiences?
None that I could think of, because I think a lot of times you can just very easily, if you're not involved in the world, you can kind of chalk it up to like some made-up kind of phenomenon where it's like, oh, maybe the wind came through, like really like the old cliches. But I do think there's some things that have happened. Like I had the house that I grew up in, my dad also grew up in, and it was built from the time he was a kid, and both his parents kind of passed away in the house. So there was always rumblings as I grew up that there was some lingering spirits of my grandparents, and there was weird stuff that would happen. But I don't think anything personally to me.
Matt, pick your socks up.
Well, that was weird. Well, I won't get into this. It's a little edgy. Just being a young man growing up in a place where you think your grandparent ghosts are watching all the time is a weird thing to navigate. I'll leave it at that, and we'll see. Yeah.
That's fair. I've never had a paranormal experience. Have you ever had like a paralysis experience, like a paralysis demon? You ever heard about those?
Sleep paralysis?
Oh, like sleep paralysis. No, I've never had it happen to me, but it freaks me out hearing about it. Yeah. Like just waking up, but you can't wake up. Yeah, stuff like that.
Do you have any bad dreams from here? Like, do any ghosts visit you in your dreams?
I've woken up in the middle of the night just with this really uneasy feeling. I can't say it was a nightmare. Actually, you know what? No, I have. I've had, while staying here, a nightmare about being woken up by a ghost, and it would just freak me the heck out. I couldn't get back to
one of the
sleep.
ghosts that are here?
I don't remember it too deeply. I just remember just something grabbing me.
Yeah.
And it was one of those dreams that you feel like is really real, because one of those dreams where you imagine yourself in your bed. So I imagined myself literally being woken up in my bed in the fort, grabbed by a ghost. And then I actually woke up for real and thought, was that real? That kind of thing.
Now let me ask.
Freaks me out.
Is that an HR violation?
Yeah, I mean, if it was actually one of my coworkers waking me up in the middle of the night, I would definitely
Sure.
Technically, all the ghosts here are coworkers.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, one last one. I just
Blacksmith has a W-2.
he does. Have you ever had a medium come out that tries to actually like communicate directly? I mean, I know that's kind of maybe similar to a paranormal investigator.
Yeah, we've had mediums here.
Okay.
I wouldn't know enough about to speak on it, but we have had mediums come here to the fort and communicate. We've had people. I mean, every ghost hunting piece of equipment you can think of has been here, from dowsing rods to EMF detectors, mediums, Ouija boards, everything. Although I've heard Ouija boards are really, really highly discouraged among.
Yeah, because you can and I don't really believe in ghosts. I believe more in spirits. I think they're different. Sorry if they're not. You don't want to turn the spirits into demons, because then those are bad spirits, is what I've been told. And that's why I've heard that Fort Mifflin is a good place for ghosts and spirits and for people to come, because they're not mean per se, besides the blacksmith who's an asshole.
Well, yeah, I've never heard of a ghost here particularly mean. Like I said, I've heard people getting cursed or yelled at, but
That's
not
I
too
95.
many.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. we've got like drag racers we deal with every now and then outside the fort as well. So, ugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's part of what's so freaky about it. We're in the middle of nowhere next to the airport all at the same time.
Yeah.
So the Ouija board, I guess, just as briefly as you want to talk about it, it's just it invites things that maybe you don't want, kind of deal.
As far as I'm aware, paranormal investigators highly discourage them for that reason. I don't know too much about it. I just know that like it's not a typical part of any ghost hunter's kit.
Don't
Okay.
bring your freaking Ouija boards.
No Ouija
to
boards.
Fort Mifflin. Have
Yeah.
some respect for the ghosts.
No Ouija board, no weed. 2 things you can't bring to Fort Mifflin. That's right.
That is one thing that bugs me though. When ghost hunters do this whole like trying to deliberately annoy ghosts.
No weed?
It's I don't know about the weed.
Oh, I thought that's what you're getting. Sorry.
here.
Okay, sorry. That's what you're getting.
I don't think
Yes.
the weed might annoy the ghost, but we don't allow smoking at Fort Mifflin.
Yes.
So no weed.
Absolutely.
Only fires.
Yes.
Only
But
fires.
as we're saying, like the investigators that like intentionally agitate, you've seen that happen, or
Well, I've seen it happen with some paranormal investigators here, and it always bugs me. You tell them to knock it off because it's just, if you really think there's a spirit there, why are you trying to annoy them?
Yeah.
What's the point? What are you getting out of that?
Views.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
YouTube pranksters. Paranormal
Yeah.
pranksters.
what's the agitation? Like an actual like they're
Saying their name. It's something you see on the ghost shows all the time. It's they just try to piss off the ghost to get them to get a rise up.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
What do
Yeah.
you think we've done?
Well, you have kind of played around with them a little bit. Yeah.
The blacksmith, like if the blacksmith gets me, the blacksmith gets me. At this
That's on
point.
you.
That's like,
As clear as possible. That was Kyle who did that. I totally
I got red
denounced.
hair.
Yes.
Bad mustache.
Its mustache is gone. You fool.
Last one for you, and we'll wrap it up. How many people apply to a job, get the job, come on site, and then quit within like 24 to 48 hours because it's just too creepy?
I'm not familiar of anybody who's quit because it's too creepy. I know that there are some people who prefer not to do the ghost tours. We've had some people who prefer not to do the ghost tours, but I don't know of anybody who's quit per se because of the ghosts. I know some people get frustrated by them, or we've had some coworkers here who don't like them, but not quit per se. I'm not.
Yeah, Mary and Rebecca, you've been here for 20 and 18 years. The people come in and
We just had one over the summer.
Oh, really?
they just came in and were just like,
He's like, they said they freaked her out and left.
Really?
Wow.
Okay, wow. Never mind. We have had somebody quit over the
a psychic,
Okay.
a psychic
I was abroad
came
at the
in,
time.
got the job, said she was a psychic, came in here, obviously didn't love the energy, and just left? Wow.
Said beat it, get back to Dairy Queen. That's what you say.
Well, dude, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, man. This was great.
Yeah.
Glad you enjoyed. Yeah, thank you very much for coming.
And we really want to thank Fort Mifflin. Like I said, description about how you can donate. If you're one of the blue collar babies out there and you want to help, put the fort back together, volunteer and everything, it'll be down in the description. Check out the Patreon, and we'll be releasing this after a couple weeks later. But we're about to go do a ghost tour, so check out that video. We will talk to you after that, and see you.
Happy Halloween.